All right, testing, testing. Can you all hear me? Thomas, I'm seeing Thomas is here so far. Thomas, can you hear me? All right, nice. So we begin shortly, guys. Nice. So let's just wait for the for it to build up a bit for some more persons to join. So by all means, you all could share the word, spread the word with other persons, etc. Right? I just getting some connection issues here as well, so just bear with me a bit, guys. Hola Brianna, ¿qué tal? So once again, we begin shortly. If it is you are not subscribed as yet, please go subscribe to the channel quintessentiallanguagelearning.com. Right. I seen the Zane and one. I was wondering if it's the same Zane from last year. Thank you for that, Zane. Brianna, this is our open session, so we will start off with our recent past paper. Matter of fact, we'll start off looking at the topics, the specific topics based on the broad topics for CSEC. And then after that, we will go into any other past papers you all want. It will be a free and open floor for persons to basically say which past paper they want to go through, that kind of thing, yeah? So you all will have the choices. If it is you don't, you could, well, we will go through based on the list that I have here as well, so. Right, so the broad topics. Okay, guys, I'm gonna ask that you bear with me. As I say, make sure and spread the news to the persons that I'm joining. But can you all confirm with me, are you seeing the list of broad topics on the screen now? Written responses, section 1, advising, accepting and declining, apologizing, etc. Just give me some feedback in the chat so that I know if it is you all seeing that. I'm going to change it in a couple seconds, but I don't know if you're seeing it as I'm speaking now. All right, all right, all right. All right, no problem. I'll fix that for you now. Let me fix that now. Hi guys, I'm seeing new names. Feel free to message and let me know where it is you're joining from as well. And as I said, spread the word with persons as well, so they could join and we could make the most out of today. Nice. I know you all seen it now. I'm just pulling up some other things in the meanwhile. Let me get some feedback. What about now? You all should be seeing the list of topics there, written responses, etc., correct? Accepting and declining, all that stuff. Thomas, Imani, Ria, Brianna. Nice. Nice. What have you nervous there, Brianna? The exam isn't here yet, man. No need to be nervous. Right? So we're doing this on the spot, guys, right? I will be taking little breaks in between to field some questions. So what I would ask you all to do is just write down your questions. If you have a piece of paper, a notebook, etc. If you don't have it, this is the time to run and get it. So I'll be fielding questions, and what I'll say is that you write it on your book, and when I take some periodical breaks in between, I'll be looking at those questions, right? I'll be, what's the word? I'll be taking your questions, basically. I don't know any other way to explain it. Yeah? Nice, so let's switch it up a bit now. And we go into our Microsoft Word document where we'll be doing the actual stuff, right? So CSEC Spanish 2022 Live Worked Solutions, yeah? Somebody was asking me about some material that we had before. We did the crash course before, and I know you all looked at the videos. So if you have not looked at the videos, please go to the YouTube channel and look at those videos, right? But I will organize for by tomorrow to put out a link to put out some information on those materials for you all, so that you can. Yes, I also do Cape Spanish, so that you can have that information, right? Are you all seeing the Microsoft Word screen? Because I'm not seeing it being displayed for you all. So yes, Tiana Lee, I do Cape Spanish as well. Let me just make some changes here. Tomorrow from 5 p.m. is the live session for Cape. I'm seeing Thomas asking if it will mostly be preterite and imperfect tense, aka the forms of the past tense in Spanish for thing. Not necessarily, and I will go and show you all how it is, how you go about choosing CSEC Spanish Live Work Solutions. Let me just try something here. Testing. What about now? You all seen it now? My God. Alright guys, 1 second, let me just fix this. That's tough. 1 second. Sí, hay dificultades técnicas. Ya lo entiende perfecto. I'm clicking on this thing to show up. I'm not sure why it's not showing up for you all. I'm not seeing it showing up either. Let me try something here. Hi, buenas tardes, Amelia. All right, y'all just hold on 1 second, right? Let's see if we could begin by 5. Let me just get some assistance with making this thing work here, right? So just bear with me a bit. If you haven't gotten out a notebook yet, you could organize to do that. You could share the word with your friends, etc. regarding us being online. Anybody else you know that is doing the CSEC Spanish this year on Monday, please go out paper too. So please share the word, and by 5 p.m. we'll begin, right? Let me just get some technical assistance with this, and we will begin shortly. All right, guys, I need your help again. I need you all to let me know if it is you're seeing the I'm gonna pop the Microsoft Windows application as well. So I need you to let me know if it is you're seeing the if it is you're seeing it. If you're seeing the Microsoft Word with CSEC Spanish 2022 live on the screen. So let me know, guys. Guys, I've seen your messages coming through, by the way, right? As I say, I beg for your patience. But the most important thing is I will give you back your time. Yeah, so maximum 4 hours, as I said. Yeah, maximum 4 hours, and we will start off by looking at the stuff from CXC itself, and then we will look at individual past papers after that, right? And I say this stuff from CXC are referring to the I'm referring to the list of topics, right? Nice. So you all speak to me now, guys. Speak to me. Everybody, you should be seeing CSEC Spanish 2022 live work solutions under that section 1 situation responses. You all confirm for me, just message in the chat. Let me know if you're seeing that. Nice, thank you. So I'm seeing new names. Allow me to officially begin. Welcome, guys, to our CSEC Spanish 2022 live work solutions. We're looking at the paper 2. So as I see your names, Sanola, Nelicia, Riyadh, Chrisman, Wheel, Fortune. I'm seeing Jared. I'm seeing Honorable Gordon. So everybody, Tamia, what's up, Tamia? This is D. Tamia from my classes earlier in the year. Nice, so welcome. So as I mentioned before, the first thing we're going to do is that we're going to look at this specific thing, right? Hey, Samir, what's up? Welcome, everybody, and as I said, be sure to spread the word, let your friends come on as well, that sort of stuff, right? So, let us begin. All right, so work solutions. So the first thing that we need to remember about the section 1 of the paper is that it is not a translation. For the situation responses, what they require you to do is put yourself in the position of the person that is communicating the language and give a response in Spanish as they would. Yes, once for Spanish, right? So we have certain things here. We have a list of the situation responses that we need to know. We have advising, accepting and declining, apologizing, asking permission, asking questions, borrowing, congratulating, etc., etc., etc. So we're going to go through each one and see what is an appropriate response for each one, right? So we have advising, and an appropriate response to advise somebody in Spanish will be te aconsejo, I advise you. Que, and whatever the advice is. Another one will be sugiero que, followed by whatever the suggestion or advice in this case is. So those are the two main ways that we can go about doing that, right? And a very key and very extremely important thing to remember and note here is that these expressions here must be followed by the present subjunctive. Nice. Every 15 minutes, as I mentioned previously, every 15 minutes or so, we'll just be I'll just be checking with you all to just make sure everybody's following and we're good. If any questions you have, by all means you could ask me then, right? So accepting, CXC says accepting and declining. So we'll break it up as such as well. So simply acepto whatever the thing is you're accepting. Say for example, you accept an invitation. Acepto la invitación, for example, right? Invitación a tu cumpleaños. Just to give an example in a sentence, right? And similarly, declining will be no acepto or no puedo aceptar. Right? All of these are different ways we can go about saying it. Acepto tu invitación, or acepto whatever the thing is you accept. No acepto or no puedo. Right? No puedo aceptar. We move next to apologizing. How do we go about apologizing in Spanish? You will give the most popular or common one, of course, lo siento. Por whatever the thing is. In this case, if we give an example, lo siento por no aceptar la invitación. So you're apologizing for not accepting the invitation to somebody's birthday party, etc. as lo siento por. Lo siento por whatever the thing is that you did or that you did not do, etc. Another way of apologizing is siento. You could use mucho. I am really sorry por whatever the thing is, right? That's how we go about apologizing. Asking permission. And of course, as I said, this is a document that is being done up. And what we will do is prepare a Padlet for you all so that everybody could have access to these and some other resources that we'd have compiled previously with the masterclass, etc. Right? I know that some of you all were asking about that. So by all means, look out for that, right? I will make it available to you all. So asking permission, how do we go about asking permission for something in Spanish? Puedo, followed by the infinitive, aka the verb in the AR, ER, or IR form. For example, the most famous one that you should know from school, puedo ir al baño. Por favor, can I go to the bathroom, please? Right? Asking permission for something, yeah? A more advanced way of asking for permission is permítame, permit me or allow me, plus the infinitive. Yeah, so permítame whatever, allow me to do this, allow me to do that. Permítame salir con mis amigos este fin de semana. Can you allow me to go out with my friends this weekend? Permítame salir, permítame celebrar, allow me to do this, allow me to do that, allow me to celebrate, etc. So puedo plus the infinitive or permítame plus the infinitive are two ways we can ask permission to do something. And pay very close attention to the accent. You notice there's an accent over the I in permítame. Nice? I'm moving quickly. We're moving on from asking questions to borrowing. How do you go about borrowing something in Spanish? Pido prestado plus thing to be borrowed. Pido prestado. That phrase, that's a phrase you could learn off. Pido prestado That is the phrase that you use. You ask somebody to borrow something in Spanish, right? In other words, and what it means is, can I borrow? So can I borrow whatever the thing is? Pido prestado tu diccionario, por favor. Can I borrow your dictionary, please? And most times it's very common as well that we will see it being done as a question, right? So pido prestado plus the thing, don't forget you putting it in question marks as well. Nice? Congratulating. ¿Cómo damos felicidades en español? How do we give congratulations in Spanish? More than one ways we could do that. Felicitaciones. Or we can also say felicidades. Or you can also say another one. This one is a little bit more upscale. Enhorabuena. Right? All these are different ways that you can go about giving congratulations in Spanish. Felicitaciones, felicidades, enhorabuena. Right? I don't know if you all saw where I put out a video earlier this week as well, a little exam tip. And one of the things that I said was that, listen, you'll never know every single vocabulary here. So I'm saying that in the context of now to let you all know that, listen, you may not know or remember every single word or every single example that I'm giving you here, but work on using the one that sticks best in your head. So it would always be easy for you to remember felicidades. Use that every single time, right? Make it simple for yourself, right? Consoling somebody. For example, somebody, a parent or a family member died, or they were not successful in something. Those will be the circumstances or the situations where CXC might tell you, offer a word of condolence, etc. to somebody. And how do we go about consoling somebody? Similar to apologizing. Lo siento mucho por, I am very sorry for whatever the thing is. Or you can also say lamento mucho por whatever the thing is, right? So consoling somebody is very similar to apologizing. And let us go one step further. Sorry. So lo siento mucho por plus the thing. I am sorry for whatever the thing is. Let me do it like this as well. Or lamento mucho por whatever the thing is. Now, in consoling somebody, it is very common to see where it is you have to give consolation in the time of a death. There are specific phrases as well that we could use when you're talking about consoling somebody for a death. Yeah? And I think this absolutely needs to be included as well. So consoling somebody because of a death, we say, or we can say, acepto mis condolencias, right? Or you can say, mi más profundo pésame. Right? You notice the accent is on the E and the first E in pésame. So these are two ways we can console somebody for a death. In addition, right, you could also use lamento mucho por or lo siento por. Right? Those could also be used. And por will be followed by the thing. So for example, I'm sorry for the death of your mother. Lamento mucho por la muerte de su mamá. Or tu mamá. Lo siento mucho por la muerte de tu mamá. That sort of stuff. Or simply, you can leave out the por, and you could also leave out the por and state any specific reason for the thing, right? Because it's very common, you wouldn't repeat the actual reason why. So for example, somebody has a death in the family, you show up at the wake, you would simply say, I'm very sorry, lo siento mucho, lamento mucho, acepto mis condolencias, mi más profundo pésame, yeah? So it isn't always necessary to actually explicitly state what is the thing you're consoling them for, right? Next, we have describing. And how do we go about describing in Spanish? Very important point to note, ladies and gents, use of the verb ser. We use the verb ser when we are giving physical, personality, or permanent descriptions of people and things. Yeah? So for example, soy alto e inteligente. I am tall and intelligent. Right? Mi madre es muy cariñosa. My mom is very caring. This personality description. Right? Pero es baja, for example. That not links, but yeah, but she is short, right? Or la casa es, you could say de color, or you could leave out the de color and simply say roja. The house is red, right? So a description, when we're given descriptions of persons, things, and descriptions of persons could include physical description of the person, it could include a personality description of the person. But once we're given those descriptions, the most important thing to know is that the verb ser is extremely important. It will always be used. You're not using a star, you're using the verb ser. And as we say that, another very important description you could give is of specific characteristics of somebody. So for example, yes, you're giving a description, but you're describing somebody's facial features, for example, which are a specific characteristics of a part of a thing, of the thing, right? So, for example, you would say, well, first and foremost, when we're doing that, we use the verb tener. I know I'm moving fast, so that's why I'm saying we'll take questions shortly, right? Just in case you're wondering. So the use of the verb tener when you want to give specific descriptions of persons and things. So, for example, I'm going to show us how to use the use of both ser and tener. So, mi madre es baja e inteligente y tiene, use of the verb tener, los ojos azules. She has blue eyes. Right? So describing facial features, tiene una frente grande, has a large forehead. Tiene una nariz pequeño, tiene una nariz pequeña, una nariz grande, has a large or a big nose. Once again, you see, now you're speaking about facial features, descriptions of a specific aspects of a thing. So we use the verb tener. So when we're talking about description, the verb ser is the most important thing, but you may also have instances where you have to use the verb tener. Nice? Explaining. Before we move on to explaining, let me just stop with you all. Is everybody good so far? We following? Any questions so far? Let me just stop in between and field those questions for you all. Let me see a thumbs up emoji in the chat. Let me know how you all doing, how you're feeling, etc., etc., etc. Nice, so pam. Just taking a 2-minute pause just to make sure that everybody is good. Everybody is in tune, we're following, etc. Nice. Tamia, thumbs up. Everybody is good. One more minute, just allowing responses to come in to make sure that we're good. And once we good so far, we'll move forward. Nice. All right, I say 1 minute, but let us continue, guys. All right, so explaining. How do you go about giving explanations in Spanish? Keyword or phrase to use if you have to give an explanation of something is por qué, right? So the reason for doing something. Tenemos que salir temprano porque hay mucha gente en el estadio. So for example, you're going to a football match and you want to explain to your parents why it is important for you all to leave early. So you would say, tenemos que salir temprano porque hay mucho tráfico. You have to leave early because there's a lot of traffic, right? And you notice the word here being highlighted and in bold, porque. That's one of the key phrases that you use when you want to give an explanation for something. A causa de. So a causa de means as a result of. And we use this when you want to give an explanation once again. Right? A causa de, as a result of. And this one causes problems. Well, porque causes problems for students many times because there may be instances when they want to say that something is happening as a result of something else. And they may want to say porque, which is incorrect. So say, for example, we have a phrase, hay mucha, sorry, let me just take off this here. Right. So we want to give, there's some flooding taking place in the country, and we want to give an explanation as to why there is so much flooding. So we're not really trying to say because, but a causa de means like as a result of or because of. Yeah? So you're going one step further with your explanation, and you want to say that something is a result of or because of this or that. So watch the difference, guys. Hay muchas inundaciones en el pueblo. You want to say because, you're giving an explanation, because it's been raining for 3 days. Right? So there are lots of floods in the town because it has been raining for 3 days, right? So hay muchas inundaciones. There are lots of floods. Inundación means flood. Inundaciones en el pueblo a causa de, because of or as a result of, las lluvias. Because of the rains de los últimos 3 días. Right? So, there are lots of floods in the town as a result of, a causa de. So, sometimes we may want to say because, and that because can be replaced by as a result of. So if it is the because that you want to say in the sentence in Spanish can be replaced by as a result of, and it would make perfect sense in English when you change because of to as a result of, then you do not use porque, we use a causa de. Pause, and let me repeat that. When we want to give an explanation in Spanish, the key phrase or the key word that we use is the word porque, and porque means because. But there are some instances when we want to give an explanation and we do not mean to say because, but we mean to say because of something or as a result of something. Once we want to say because of or as a result of something, we would use a causa de and not porque. Nice? So, nice. Let me see. Nice. So we good so far. I am seeing the thumbs up emojis. Excellent, guys. Nice. So we're continuing. So, hay muchas inundaciones. There are lots of floods in the town as a result of or because of the rains of the last 3 days. Nice. So that's explaining. We also have expressing disappointment. And how do we go about expressing disappointment in Spanish? Another key phrase to use, estoy decepcionado. And if it is you're a girl, estoy decepcionada porque, or a causa de, as a result of, etc. Right? So that is the key phrase to express disappointment. Estar decepcionado or estar decepcionada. Yes, this decepcionado looks like deception, but it does not mean deception, right? It is one of those words that we call a false friend. It looks like something in another language, but it's not that. So, la decepción is disappointment, right? Not deception as it looks like. So, estoy decepcionado or estoy decepcionada, right? I am disappointed. That's how we express disappointment. How do we express doubt? Dudo que, whatever the thing is you doubt. No estoy seguro que, I am not sure that, right? Another phrase we could use to express doubt, no estoy cierto que, I am not sure that. You could also say no es cierto que, it is not certain that, and whatever the thing is. Nice? And all of these phrases, dudo que, I doubt that. No estoy seguro que, I'm not sure that. No estoy cierto que, I'm not certain that. Or no es cierto que, it is not certain that. All of these phrases must be followed by the present subjunctive. Right? Must, absolutely. Otherwise, you'll be using it totally incorrectly. So remember, the present subjunctive must be followed by these things, yeah? Expressing fears or wishes. Okay, those are two totally different things. It's a bit unique that it will be grouped together. But expressing fears, let me split them up one time. Expressing fears in Spanish, to express that you're fearful of something, is the verb temer, followed by que. Right? Temer que. So we'd have temo que, I fear that. Right? There's another phrase that me está escapando. It's escaping me right now. It was right on the tip of my tongue, and for some reason it's just not there anymore. I have something else to add to this expressing fear, right? Temer, estoy. Alright, I can't remember right now. If it comes back to me later, I will tell you, right? But the point I was going to make is, once we're using temer que, because it's an emotion, if you're expressing fear that something else happens, that somebody else does something, not yourself, but you are expressing fear. I am expressing fear that somebody else does something, that somebody else does not do something, etc. Once you're expressing a fear for somebody else to do something, it must be followed by, once again, the present subjunctive. So, for example, temo que no ten I don't want to use this, Okay, so temo que mi sobrino, or mi tío, let's use tío, my uncle. I don't think I have any uncles that sit in exams, right? I'm being a little bit superstitious now. That's why I'm fearful to use it. So temo que mi tío no tengan éxito. I'm fearful that my uncle wouldn't be successful in su examen. I'm fearful that my uncle will not be successful in his exam, right? So temer que must be followed by the present subjunctive, right? And expressing wishes. This is one of the key things that you use that triggers the present subjunctive. You could use querer. So yo quiero. You could use querer plus the thing, or querer que plus present subjunctive. Let me explain. Quiero KFC. Quiero una hamburguesa con queso, con mucho queso. I want a hamburger with lots of cheese. Quiero plus the thing. Quiero una hamburguesa. Quiero tener éxito en mis exámenes. I want to be successful in my exams. Quiero recibir o quiero conseguir un grado 1 en mis exámenes de CSEC Spanish. I want to get a grade 1 in my CSEC exams. So I want something. I am the person that wanted or wanting. However, from the point in time when you're saying you want, I want for somebody else to do something. I want that all my students are successful in their exams. Yo quiero que todos mis estudiantes tengan éxito. Once it's querer, one person wanting for somebody else to complete something. 2 verbs, 2 subjects. I want, they are successful. I want, he leaves immediately. One person wanting, somebody else completing another action. Once it's like that, the second action is in the present subjunctive in Spanish. So, quiero una hamburguesa. I want a hamburger, but quiero que mis estudiantes tengan éxito. Tengan is the verb in the present subjunctive there. So I want my students to be successful. Yeah? Expressing feelings. Expressing feelings. How do we go about expressing feelings in Spanish? Me siento plus the feeling. I feel this way. So for example, me siento muy orgulloso. I feel very proud. Nice. All right. So I'm going to take a quick pause again. I'm going to take a real quick pause again. Any queries, any concerns, any questions, feel free to message them. Hey, I'm seeing Chantal K2 as well. Jemima Rose, Ryan, David, Tamaya, etc., etc. So feel free, guys. Any questions, anything, anybody want to add so far? Questions, concerns? I'll make this a bit smaller. Yes, tener miedo is the phrase. Yep. Yes, yes. Thank you, to be afraid. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Hey, Tashana, what's up? Sorry, I didn't private message to let you know we were live, but I know you would have been following on the different social media, etc. Right? Pam, pam, pam. So yes, thank you for that, Rayan. It's tener miedo. Tener miedo is another way of expressing fear, right? And it follows the same rules as I said. If you want to say, I am afraid, tengo miedo. I am afraid of cockroaches. Tengo miedo de las cucarachas. Right? Tengo miedo de las cucarachas. I'm afraid of cockroaches. Or, I am afraid, using the same example, temo que o tengo miedo que mi tía no tenga éxito en sus exámenes o en su examen. I'm afraid that my aunt isn't successful in her exam. Tener que, I thought tener que only means to have to. Tener que plus the verb in the subjunct in the infinitive, is how we go about expressing obligation, or in other words, saying I have to do something. So, tengo que estudiar cada noche. I have to study every night. Thomas, tienes que compartir el enlace de YouTube con tus amigos. Thomas, you have to share the YouTube link with your friends, right? Tener que. Nice, so I hope that answered the question. Right. So we're moving on. So we're moving on to expressing good. How do you express good? What do they even mean by that? Right? Estar bien. If you want to say, I am good, I am fine, I am well. Right? You're expressing to say, you're in a good place, you're in a good mood, etc. However, ser bueno. Right? ¿Cómo estás? How are you? How are you feeling? What is your mood like? Estoy bien. I am good. I'm in a good mood, etc. But, ¿cómo es el live de Señor Weeks? ¿Cómo es el live de Señor Weeks? How is Señor Weeks' live? The live for CSEC Spanish. Es bueno, right? So, es bueno, es buenísimo, etc., right? How is the soup? Es bueno. ¿Cómo es la sopa? Es buena. Es rica. Of course, if you're describing it as taste, you could say it is delicious. Es rica. Pero es buena. Right? It is a good question. Es una buena pregunta. Right? So describing or expressing something as good, remember, ser goes with bueno and estar goes with bien. Right? That is something, those two, that bien and bueno, are things that students mix up often. So be careful of that, right? So expressing gratitude, we look at expressing gratitude next. And to express gratitude, we say estoy, from the verb estar, estoy agradecido por, I am grateful for, whatever the thing is, right? Or you could also say te agradezco, right? Te agradezco, I thank you for whatever the thing is. So the infinitives of those will be estar agradecido por o agradecer, right? Agradecer means to be thankful. So agradezco por todo lo que has hecho por mí. Agradezco por. I am happy for todo, all que has hecho, that you have done por mí. Right? Or te agradezco por. I am happy to you for todo que has hecho, for all that you have done. Right? So those are two ways of expressing gratitude in Spanish. Expressing surprise. Estar sorprendida, right? Or sorprendido. Nice. So, estoy sorprendido por el resultado. I am surprised by the result. Or you could also say sorprenderse. Sorprende. So me sorprendo. I surprise myself. Or I am surprised por el resultado. By the result. Yeah? Expressing surprise. Giving reasons could be very similar to explaining. Right? Giving reasons could be very similar to explaining. Por such and such and such. Right? Because of this reasons or porque. So to give reasons, three key phrases that you'll use are porque, a causa de, which we learned these two before, and you could also use por, which means for. Given a reason will be for. As a matter of fact, let me change this a bit. Por or para. Right? Now, Faith says gracias por. Excellent. Right? So here's the thing, right? Por and para is something that usually confuses a lot of students. Matter of fact, is something that confuses a lot of persons that are studying Spanish, not just students like yourself, right? It can be mixed up all the time. So here's the key thing. I like to explain it in these simple terms, right? Let us find the least amount of uses of the thing, of one of them, and if it doesn't fall within that category, it is safe to use the other one. So we're looking at para. We use para for four reasons, right? We use para to show the recipient of something. For example, el regalo, the gift, es para mamá. The gift is for mom. So because she's the recipient of the thing, it is for her. Because she's the recipient, we use para. We could also use para to show an end date or deadline. Right? So for example, la tarea es para el viernes. The homework is for Friday. And in this case, as you see here, we're talking about an end date of something, when it is due. A due date, an end date, etc. So to show the recipient of something, to show an end date, to show a final destination. You also use para for that. So for example, voy para, I am going to mi casa. I am going to my house. So in this case, it is understood that you may pass other places first, but your home is your final destination. Or a more common example, you are traveling via plane, but you have a connecting flight. So you're leaving from your country in the Caribbean, right? Whether it be Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, Guyana, St. Vincent, Jamaica, etc. You have a stop in Miami, a couple hours you spend in Miami, and your final destination is New York, right? That's a cheaper flight instead of going to New York straight. So voy para Nueva York. New York is your final destination, so it is because of that that you use para, final destination. And finally, to show rationale. We use para to show rationale or the reason for doing something, right? An example is, estudio mucho para recibir una beca. So I study a lot in order to, para, so that to show rationale can be understood many times by the phrase in order to, right? So I study a lot in order to receive a scholarship. Una beca is a scholarship. Estudio mucho para recibir una beca. So it shows the rationale behind the studying, behind doing something. And here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing about it, right? The thing about it is that once you want to say for, or you want to give a reason for something in Spanish, and it doesn't fall within these categories of the uses of para, you would use por. Again, if it is you want to say something in Spanish, aka given a reason, or you want to say for, and it doesn't fall in one of the categories of showing a recipient of something, showing an end date, showing a final destination, or a rationale, once it doesn't fall in those categories, you use por. So as we saw here, voy, to give you an example, por Miami, I am going through Miami, or passing through Miami, para Nueva York, for New York as the final destination. You notice that when I add por Miami here, it is not showing final destination still. It is showing us that Miami is where the layover is. You're in transit in Miami, you're passing through. Here it is showing passing through and not final destination. So that is why we use voy por Miami here, but we use para Nueva York because New York is the final destination. Right? We are seeing here that as a result of something. We also, I am thankful for you doing something, right? And this is showing the reason that you did something here as opposed to the rationale. Nice? So, that is how it is done. Tajwin. When do you use the el or the la? The el or the la, of course, is just something you have to learn off for the words. When we learn any words for the first time, you have to just learn off whether it is they are masculine or feminine, and we'll use the el if it is a masculine noun, and we use the la if it's a feminine noun. So la beca, and we use it when we want to say the in particular, not a but the. So el niño, the boy. La niña, the girl. La beca, the scholarship, etc. Right? I think that is what you were referring to, Tashana. If it's something else, you could let me know, of course. I'm taking off my phone off a Wi-Fi mode, so if it is you send me a message 1v1, I could address it there too as well, right? After given reasons, we have identifying, we have instructing, we have inviting, promising, recommending, reminding, requesting, threatening. All right, so I'm seeing a lot of I'm seeing some grammatical questions coming through. Somebody asked as well, what about low? I would just ask you all to make a note of those grammatical questions, like what about low, etc. And I could address that afterwards, right, Tashana? So you got the message. I can address that afterwards, right? Because it's kind of different to what it is the specific topics for CSEC that we're going through, right? So just make a note of that for me. Nice. Just make a note of them and we'll come back to them. As I say, we have 4 hours, so we have some time. Nice. So we have next identifying. Now, I'm being honest with you, I'm not 100% sure what CXC means when they want to say identifying, right? I can think of different scenarios. I can think of you identifying or showing who's the owner of something or somebody, right? Of identifying or showing that you know something is. So I would use the phrase ace day, right? The phrase ace day. And let me give you that in a sentence. La mochila es de un estudiante del primer grado. Right? So the book bag is of a student of the first grade. Right? So that is one way I could think of your identifying in Spanish. If you all could think of something else, by all means, share it with me. Nice. After identifying, we have instructing. Once we hear the word instructing in Spanish, we know that what it is taking place is that you are given a command. Right? Once we hear the word instructing, instruct somebody to do this, instruct somebody to do that, we know that we are basically given a command. And as we may know, or as you should know, there are different types of instructions or commands in Spanish. We have instructions that is given when it is given to somebody that you're well acquainted with, right? So for example, and we call those informal or familiar commands. So for example, lava los platos. Your mom gives you an instruction to do something. Wash the wares. Or she gives you CXC gives you a situation. Your mom gives you an instruction on on 2 chores to complete before she arrives home. What does the note say? So you're basically writing 2 instructions of 2 chores. Lava los platos y arregla el dormitorio. Wash the dishes y arregla el dormitorio. Right? And basically, once we see those commands, it is a hint to us, hey, this is an informal command. So look at the endings. The endings are looking very similar to the 3rd person form of the verb in Spanish, the el, ella, usted form of the verb in Spanish. Right? So you could simply use the verb in that form and put the exclamation marks to show that this is an informal command. Right? So we have informal commands or instructions. Right? We have it formal as well. If it's formal, the verb looks a bit different. Right? So the verb will look as lave los platos y arregle el dormitorio. Nice. Lave los platos y arregle los dormitorios. Once again, as I mentioned before, once it's an instruction, it's another way of saying a command, so you need to put your exclamation marks. So you notice the ending, we just move from informal to formal. You use the verb the same way you use the informal, and you change the ending. For AR verbs, the ending changes to E, from A to E. For ER verbs, it changes from E to A, right? We didn't have an ER verb in this case. For example, if it was comer, it would be come toda tu comida, eat all your food. Coma toda tu comida. Informal to formal. Coma, come to coma, right? So lave los platos, we have the informal command, we have the formal command. You may also have the plural command. You're given an instruction to more than one persons. Yeah, these are the key ones to know, right? It's not all. I wouldn't be able to go through every single type of command. I'll do the 4 key ones you may meet, right? So plural, you use the same as the formal, but you add an N at the end. So it becomes, for example, laven, arreglen, right? And let me give you, I'll do the negative command just now as the last type of instruction. But let me show you something before we do that, right? You have to remember the context, right? So the context is, for example, you are at a campsite and there's the camp director leaves a sign in the dorm rooms above your bed head. Let me repeat that. You are in a campsite and the camp director leaves a sign, over your bed head, which gives 2 instructions of things that you must do every day. What does the sign say? Once again, I'm making it up on the spot, right? So bear with me. You are in a campsite and the camp director leaves a sign over your bed head with 2 instructions of things that you must do daily. What are the instructions? So because it's a camp director and he's talking to you, he may choose to go informally, right? Because talking to a minor, informal command. So it will say, lava los platos, wash the dishes, y arregla el dormitorio, and fix the bed, fix the room, right? Or let us say it is not the camp director. Those signs came with the campsite. So they be informal, because it could be any stranger or any new person. So the sign will say, because they be informal to anybody who they do not know, a member of the public, it will have a formal instruction or command. Lave los platos y arregle el dormitorio. The ending, changing from A to E or E to A, will show you that it is formal. Or if it is they want to say it to everybody, it is one sign that is in a common area for everybody. Laven los platos y arreglen los dormitorios. Nice? And of course, we have negative commands. The negative commands will look like no. From lavar, we get la ves. So the ending looks similar to the verb of the other. If it's an AR verb, it looks like an ER or IR verb ending. If it's an ER or IR verb, it looks like an AR verb ending. So let us say it is saying no wash, no laves la ropa en el baño. Don't wash clothes in the bathroom, right? You need to go to the wash area. No laves. That's the negative command telling you to not do something. And of course, for an AR verb, I'll come. Ryan, thank you so much for that. I'll come to those other questions posted in the chat just now. So you could say, for example, as well, no comas. From comer, the ending is usually comes for the U version. You change it to AS. No comas. No comas en el dormitorio. No eating in the bedroom. Dormitorio. Nice. So those are the different ways we can go about instructing. Now I'm seeing in the chat here, Rayan gave us a big help, and he said that in the syllabus, which is the correct place to look, thank you so much for that, identifying, they have like se llama. So for example, if you're identifying somebody, ¿Quién es tu tío? Who? Which one of those persons is your uncle? Él es mi tío. He is my uncle. Or él es mi tío. Se llama Marcos. His name is Marcos. So identifying somebody by the name, etc. Right? So that was given. Drea also said, sir, you can use identifying for a missing object. For example, a pencil case. So let us include that, of course. So you may ask, sorry. Okay, then. Alright, I didn't expect that fancy thing. So you may also ask, de quién quién es este or esta, whatever the thing is, identifying is, right? Whose thing is this? De quién es este amor? De quién es, quién es esta persona? Who is this person? Right? Se llama Marcos, for example, using the two of Rayan and Andrea, right? De quién es, of whom it is, or whose is this? Es de Marcos, it is Marcos's own, right? So that's how you go about identifying. Let me field some more questions from the chat. Could identifying be done using question words like que, quién, cuál, etc.? Yes. Yes, it can as well. So what would you make the bed? As la cama? Yes. So as la cama is correct, Drea. We would say as la cama if it's informal. In other words, if it is the person who is saying to do the command is speaking to somebody who is like younger than them, etc., right? Formality has to do with the relationship with the persons, how well they know the person. And an instruction or command would always be given from me to you. That you can be me to you, somebody I know well, informal. From me to you, you being somebody I don't know so well, a customer, a client, a stranger in the street, right? A passenger in a plane and some form of public transportation. That could be a formal you, or it could be a plural you all, right? So depending on which you is, we would use the different version of the verb hacer. If it's informal, your mom telling you to make the bed, haz la cama, H-A-Z. If it is formal, a sign over the bed in a campsite for that one person that sleeps on that bed, but because it is a customer to the campsite, right, they would be formal. Haga la cama, make the bed, they will be formal. If it's a sign in the dorm room where all 20 beds are, and that sign is there for all members of the public to see, or all members of that dormitory to see, plural, more than one person, hagan las camas, make the beds, right? So it will depend on that in which version of as, haga, hagan, etc. that we use. Nice. We're now we continuing with, after instructing, we have introducing. Right, and how do we introduce persons in Spanish? There are more than one ways. Este es plus one male. If you're introducing one male, este es mi tío Carlos. This is my uncle Carlos. right? You could, if it's a female, A star ace plus one female, right? If it's more than one persons, you're introducing estos son plus more than one mixed male and female, right? Or male only. So if it's male only or a mix of males and females, no matter the ratio, more females than males, etc. Once it's more than one is a mix, we say estos son. If it is a group of females, estas son. These are estas son mis amigas del colegio. These are my friends from school, right? Or you can also use te presento a. I present to you the person, right? You could also use, if you're being formal, le presento a. I present to you just the formal version. If it's more than one person, you're introducing to more than one persons, les presento a, and whoever those more than one persons are. Nice? So that is introducing, inviting, te invito a. If you're being informal, I invite you, le invito. I invite to you, formal. So for example, let me give an example of that formal, because I feel like if some persons may not know when will I have to be formal and informal and giving an invitation, right? So let us say, for example, it is Parent-Teachers Day in your school, right? And there was COVID, and you had a teacher that you loved from last year during COVID. They were excellent, etc. But you never get a chance to meet them in person. Or your mom never get a chance, your parents never get a chance to meet them in person, right? And you are seeing this teacher who no longer teaches you, but your parents heard so many good things about this teacher. And you want to introduce this teacher to your parents, right? You would say, le presento a. I introduce, so Profe Weeks, Senor Weeks, I introduce to you my mother. Le presento, I introduce to you, formal you, my mother. That's when we would use the le presento a, right? If the person that you're introducing to, you have to be formal to that person, you say le presento a. If it's just one of your friends, you're showing your mom, etc., your friend, hey, this is my friend I always telling you about. Te presento a mi amigo, Pedro. I introduce you to my friend Pedro. If it's more than one, you're introducing to more than one persons. You're introducing your friends to your mother. Les presento a mi madre. Right? So that is it. That is different. Les presento. I introduce to you all when it's more than one person, right? So that's inviting. We have promising. Once again, we see the same pattern being used in Spanish. Te prometo. I promise you. Simply that, like that. Or I promise you to do something. Te prometo asistir tu fiesta. I promise you to attend your party. Asistir means to attend. Right? Te prometo, le prometo, the same rules apply. I present to you, formal, one person, but you're being formal. Le prometo, sorry, I promise you. Or les prometo. So a teacher making a promise to the class, to more than one student. Les prometo comprar pizza para nuestra fiesta de clase. I promise you all to buy pizza for our class party. Les prometo comprar pizza. Right? Once it's more than one person's, you all. Next we have recommending, which is similar to one we met before, suggesting, etc. You could use to recommend is recomiendo, I recommend, or you could use te recomiendo or le recomiendo. Same thing applies. Or les recomiendo. I recommend to you. I am good with you. I know you well, so I recommend to you to buy this. Comprar este libro para estudiar. Right? Le recomiendo. Miss, I recommend that you get some rest. You're looking tired. Le recomiendo, profesora, descansar un poco, to rest a bit. Les recomiendo, I recommend to you all. Right? So that's the main word that you use for recommended. You can also use sugerir, sugiero que, te sugiero que, and once again, if you're recommended that somebody else do something, for example, yo recomiendo que mis estudiantes trabajan con muchos exámenes anteriores para prepararse. I recommend that my students, yo recomiendo que mis estudiantes trabajen, I recommend, or somebody recommends that somebody else does something. If somebody else do something, whatever that verb is, that other thing, it has to go in the present subjunctive. So recomiendo que plus the subjunctive. Te recomiendo que plus the present subjunctive. Le recomiendo que plus the present subjunctive. Les recomiendo que plus the present subjunctive. Understood? And that is how we go. Feel free to put your things in the chat. I will make us stop again, but feel free, guys, right? So recommending, requesting. Requesting is one of those words, once again, where you could use the querer, meaning to want, quiero, and whatever the thing is, right? If you're requesting something. If you want that somebody else does something, quiero que plus the subjunctive as we saw before. So usually most times it's quiero plus the thing. So for example, you're requesting a Coca-Cola, fries and chicken. Quiero una Coca-Cola, pollo y papas fritas. Right? You're requesting that. Right? Threatening. How do we go about threatening somebody in Spanish? Te amenazo. I threaten you. Whatever the thing is, right? Me amenaza. It threatens me. Nice. We also have, finally, issuing a warning. How do we warn somebody? If it's a warning as in a sign, you may simply see aviso, or you may also see advertencia. That's what a warning sign would look like in Spanish. Right? Te advierto. I warn you. Whatever the thing is, right? Te advierto, followed by whatever you want any person of doing. Nice. So those are the situations. We have a long list. Situation responses. That's the section 1 of your exam. Nice. And let us look at a past paper now that will help us put into practice all of these. Right? Now the past paper may not necessarily have every single situation that we just met there, but nonetheless, Aha! You all is bright fellas. All is bright fellas. Cuidado, atención. Atención has one T, by the way, right? No double T's in Spanish. Ojo as well. Ojo literally means like look. Right? Like, hey, look out, etc. Right? So, cuidado, careful. Peligro. Excellent, guys. All those are different things that can be used as well. I want us to look at a past paper now. So I will ask you all, you could type your answers in the chat. We will correct it. And if there's another way of saying it that I can say, I will include it in the document that we have here. So let me just share that screen. Está prohibido means it is prohibited. It could be used to give a warning as well in the context if you're trying to prohibit somebody from doing something. So I will say yes, Rayan. Yeah? I will say yes. 1 second, huh? All right. Pressure. Buy one, come in the same day. All right. And then we'll bring up this. By the way, we're going to look at May-June 2021 paper, in case you're wondering. Hi, Amelia. Buenas tardes. Look who Seara's entered the chat. Welcome, brother. All right. Whoa. All right, guys. Let me just get up and take a walk about just to stretch the legs, etc. We will share the screen shortly, right? So we're going into looking at a past paper. Buenas tardes, hello there. We're going to look at a past paper shortly, and we will be seeing how we could apply the what do you call it? So now we could apply this stuff basically that we just learned. Oh, fuck. Oh, I was wondering what you was talking about there for a sec. Yeah, just a quick stretch. Right, let us try and include this here now. So we have the video capture device, we have our window capture. Yes, they are, yeah. All right. All right, let's do this. You all see the screen, right? Let us look at May, June 2022. 2021, sorry. For a second there, I thought I was a prophet. All right. So May, June 2021. You met a so 2 questions I have for each one, right? So we're going through this together, guys. But I want to ask some specific questions pertaining to it, right? I want to ask you all what you think the language function is, 1. And then we will try and find a solution for it, right? So it says you met a famous personality at an event you have just attended. Write the text message you sent to your cousin, giving 1 detail about the person and how you felt when you met him or her. So write a text message giving 1 detail about the person and how you felt about when you met him or her. All right, I will go right ahead, right? Because you know there's be a little bit of lag in the messages. So 2 things you're doing here. But before we do that, let us first look at the instructions. Write in Spanish the information required for each of the situations given. If it is you forget the word in Spanish and you choose to write the word in English, you will not receive marks. The examiner will not say, oh, well, I know what it was they was trying and say. Sure, no problem. The examiner wouldn't say, oh, well, I know what it is they was trying and say, so I will give them a bly. I will have some grace with them in you all seen it zoomed? I just zoomed it, but I don't know why you're not seeing it zoomed yet. You all seen it zoomed in now? Let me know in the chat. I just pressed it, but I don't think I'm seeing it zooming on the screen. Any better now? Aha. So I'm seeing Jelani Best posted something here, right? So you met a famous personality at an event you attended. Write the text message. Sorry, I was expressing something. I was expressing the fact that you have to write it in Spanish. No, nothing yet, Tamia? Still not seeing it zoomed? Is it better now? You've seen it being on this? Alright, send a thumbs up in the chat if it has been zoomed in for you. Right, I'm seeing some messages coming through. Yes, muy hermosa y estaba emocionada. But the point I was making, pay very close attention to the instructions. Do not translate. They say do not write more than 1 sentences for each situation. Don't do that. So use your E, etc. accordingly. And, right, if it seems like it's 2 things, do not full stop and start a new sentence. Write 1 sentence. Write in Spanish. Do not translate. Do not use abbreviations. Nice. Jolini. Oh, sorry, Jolini. So I'm seeing different responses here. But the language functions that we need to put here are 2 things. Giving a detail or a description about the person and stating your feelings. So description and feelings as we saw, right? So one person says, ella fue muy amable, she was very kind y divertida. Me sentí, you should have put E there, Jolini, right? And I felt happy. right? So that would be excellent because you included all I needed to, right? I'm seeing the last person. Cuando conocí a Justin Bieber, fue muy simpático y yo estaba muy nervioso. Excellent. So you're actually stating who the person was when I met. And conocer is the verb to meet, right? It's the verb to know someone, but if you want to talk about meeting them like for the first time, you could use conocer as well. So cuando conocí a Justin Bieber, fue muy simpático. He was very happy I was very happy, etc. Joed, you will not use encontrar. You will not use that verb. You would use the verb conocer. Yo conocí a. You need to put the preposition a after response so that to show that there's a person that you're speaking about, right? Selena es muy bonita y yo estaba feliz. Joe Tasha, yes, it will be posted after. Joe Tasha, that can be used, but the preterite tense will be more appropriate here because they want to know one detail about the person and how you felt when you met him or her. So that felt there is the cue to us that you're talking about the thing in the past, right? Felt, the past tense of feel. So look for the tense of the words that CXC uses in order to guide you or show you, etc., right? You are very sad because you had an argument with your best friend. Write the note you place on his or her desk apologizing and saying how much she means to you. So let me see what are some of the responses for that one. You are very sad because you had an argument with your best friend. Write the note you place on his or her desk apologizing. So the language function, what you need to see is you apologizing and saying how much the person means to you. Okay? So showing appreciation, that sort of stuff. You could show appreciation to state basically that how much the person means to you, that kind of thing. So anybody has a response, can you scroll up? I didn't know. It's just a bit slow in loading. So President Toaster says, so we see in Lo siento, eres mi mejor amiga. Excellent, that could work. I'm gonna try something here, guys, right? As you may have guessed by now, I'm not the most tech-savvy person. All right, thank you for your patience. So let me just check something here. You all continue to write your answers. All right, we commented just now. Just bear with me a bit. All right, guys, 1 second. Just bear with me. One second, I'm going to make some changes to the screen, right? Sorry. One second, guys. Joed, I now seen your message. Thank you kindly. Let me just try and implement something here. 1 second. While you all do that, I just want to add, I'm just making some changes here, right? So, one second, guys. And